Hello, I am the Burley Flea and this is my Chelsea vs Manchester United FA Cup pre-match analysis. Firstly, I'm going to talk a little bit about the system Chelsea play. They play their 3-back or their 5-back in some games, and it's fairly narrow, with only really Marcos Alonso and Victor Moses outside the width of the penalty area throughout the pitch. This means that most of their play goes through the middle, and it presents two major problems for oppositions that aren't trying to match them up in formation. So firstly, you've got the fullbacks who have to mark two men, so they're either split between marking Hazard and Alonso, or Moses and Pedro, and this means that half the time they don't know whether to mark the inside man, which would be Hazard or Pedro, or go to the outside man, Alonso and Moses. This means that their wing-backs, Alonso and Moses, can get quite a lot of crosses in. They've got quite a lot of freedom down those wings, especially when they play teams that wings don't track back against. Secondly, they've got three men up top, so they've got Hazard, they've got Costa and they've got Pedro, and this means that the two centre-backs are kind of split. They don't know who to mark, and there's very, very usually one of them free. Either the defensive midfielder's got to take one, or a wide man's got to come inside, leaving a lot of space out wide. Spurs opted to match up Chelsea, playing a 3-back of Dyer, Alderweireld and Vertonghen, with Rose and Walker allowed to mark Chelsea's full-backs out of the game. This allowed Dyer, Alderweireld and Vertonghen to mark up Hazard, Costa and Pedro, giving them very little space, with Wanyama and Dembele working very hard all game to drop in and mark their Chelsea's front three when they dropped a little bit deeper looking for the ball. This meant that Eriksen could play fairly deep and distribute passes to Dele Alli and Kane, who are both 6'2", and the goals came in the end from Eriksen's free roaming role, swinging in balls, with Dele Alli targeting Azpilicueta. This brings us on to the second point about beating Chelsea, targeting Azpilicueta's lack of height. Victor Moses on the right-hand side also is not very big, meaning there is a huge weakness in Chelsea's side that you can exploit. Burnley also exploited this weakness. They stayed very compact and swung in crosses, playing full long ball football, and this allowed them to get a draw against Chelsea. Tottenham, on the other hand, swung in balls from the right-hand side, with Eriksen hitting Dele Alli, who was pinned up against Azpilicueta, and Victor Moses for the 2 goals. This is why I believe Fellaini absolutely has to play for Manchester United tonight, and it would be an absolute real shame if Pogba was playing deep and not getting into the box, because Azpilicueta and Victor Moses, while very good defenders this season, haven't been very good in the air, and that is one major weakness that United absolutely have to exploit if they're going to have any chance of winning this game. The final thing you need to beat Chelsea are very, very hard-working central defensive midfielders. In the case of Tottenham, they had Wanyama and Dembele working very, very hard all game long, and this opened the door for them to shut down Chelsea's creative players, as well as marking their front three out of the game. This is why I think Jesse Lingard probably should play against Chelsea, because he's not quite got the quality of Henrik Mkhitaryan, but he's got a very high work rate, and this could shut down Chelsea, leaving Mkhitaryan to come on later in the game when Chelsea are tiring and produce the quality to unlock the door for Manchester United. Antonio Valencia has shown himself to be one of the best fullbacks in the league this year, and if United do go with the 3-back of Jones, Smalling or Bailly and Marcos Rojo, then Valencia getting up and down that wing will be absolutely crucial if he can swing in crosses that Fellaini/Pogba can get on the end of. That could be United's way of winning the game. That could be United's way through this quarter-final tie. Coming back to the Burnley game, Burnley had just 28% possession and managed to keep Chelsea vaguely quiet through making 32 tackles. Their average positions were very, very deep, with only Andre Gray beyond the centre circle and Ashley Barnes in the Chelsea half. Matthew Lowton managed to complete 2 of his 3 crosses from the right-hand side into the middle, so Burnley clearly targeted the same area as United should do tonight. Robbie Brady completed 1 of his 2 crosses, and as we know, he's a very good crosser of the ball. As such, I'd like to see Ashley Young start, because he may not be the best player, but he's a very good crosser of the ball, and if he can target Azpilicueta and Victor Moses, United could be in for a good evening.